Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan. I'm filming today's video on Saturday, and I decided that it really is time to get all these borders and backings all done so that I can decide what I want to do. Some of these I may put in the charity pile for somebody else to quilt them for charity, but I need to get the whole sets done because, yeah. So I did a first little clip of the other night. Let's watch that. To really keep track here now, I am going to get the borders on the table topper and empty the bin. So I have the border fabric here, going to go ahead and cut it, and it's directional, so I may have to do a little piecing on it. I'm not sure it's quite long enough. I quite had quite enough, but if I have to piece a little bit, that's fine. Then I have to decide, do I want to maybe just do the binding in the same fabric? I'm kind of leaning that way to keep it really light all the way out to the edge. Otherwise, I might use just one. This is what the inner border is. Or I could do it in this little bit darker dot, which is kind of cool. But I'm sort of leaning towards keeping it all light, which means now I will empty this bin so that I can put the sweater weather in here. Sweater weather. Okay, I've got solids, and I have on my shelf in the other room, which I will actually take you over there then and show you. I have got all my Benertex fabric, my fabric lines, and a few other things from Benertex, you know, that might be a little bit bigger yardage. And then these are the Benertex solids, and I actually have a whole bin of solids that is in the other room on the shelf. But I'm just going to put these because, okay, I'm going to keep all of this until I do the binding, because then I don't have to order any more fabric if I'm a little low. But I want to get all the blue fabrics together, so I have a stack, and then I have to look at what I have, and a lot of these small pieces then I will give to the group to sew for charity. You know, just put it in that, because I don't need to keep all this small stuff if I have some bigger pieces of yardage. You know, that's just hanging around if I already have other stuff. So here's the blue stack, and then what do we got in here? There's another piece of pink and green. So I've got all of this. Oh, and then here's the light. So this all go in the other room, and if I have enough, like some yardage of this, then I will put this I'll put this in the charity stuff. So for now, I have got, this looks like an empty bin. Yes, an empty bin. So I will put sweater weather. Do you try to say that fast like I do? Am I just sort of silly? I don't know. Every time I say it, it's like sweater weather. Make it one word. So this is going to go in here, and that can go on the shelf over there. So that will go in that spot. That way I have got projects that are currently going on, and mostly those fabrics have to be cut, and then this bin will free up very quickly, because once I have all the rectangles cut, I don't need a bin anymore for it. So that's why I'm just going to put him here temporarily to get it off of that other area. So that is one task. Next thing after I cut these borders is I'm doing the Promise Me borders. Okay, that's the plan. I put this stuff in here. So here's the working bin. I have the book, I have the 2 blocks I did so far, I have the fabrics that I have to cut into, and the blue and the black. Now, I do have that pile of them that are already cut that I have to sew. That I won't stick in here. I just have it because I need to bring that over by the sewing machine and get using it all the time. So I will do that. Then I will be cutting these on the next day. What are we doing this on? Tuesdays? So I think on Tuesday, then I will use the AccuQuilt and cut through. And I want to grab some of those others from the fig tree to add into here for some more variety. So that's good. So this bin won't be full very long. It will, be used up pretty quickly, because, we're going to be working on that one this month pretty heavily. All right. Let's take a look at my little stack on the other shelf of my Benertex fabric. In the quilt room, I do have these 2 shelves with fabric. So this is primarily wide backs, and then a bit of yardage of some things that could be used for backgrounds. And then this shelf right now are birdsong, which most of that I had, the smaller cuts, could go for charity. This is Promise Me and Sleepover. And then I have some solids from Benertex. And so right now that's where I'm keeping those. So let me show you what I have here on the table. Okay, before we even get to the table, there's this. I need to do the border on the cross stitch pillow, and that pillow is too small that I auditioned. So I need to go get a bigger pillow and decide on that. So that's going to be on this list too. So I have the backing for my Will You Be My Neighbor, and I did the binding from this. I still have a little bit left. This is the background that I used, but I used the new binding holder. So you just wrap it around. It's a churn dash. There's a hole in the middle, so I just stuff the end. In the hole. So yeah. Really simple. Be fun if I can do another binding around here, so I can put 2 different ones on here, I think. So I could do this one. Could just stick it on there too. So this is the backing for Tantalizing Table Toppers, and I have the binding done. So there we go on that one. And I need to do the border for today, because today is Promise Me Day. So I will be doing this border and showing it to you, and showing you the table topper border and a few other things. So this border has to go on, and I believe I'm going to go with the big floral, so I have to do that. And I have the spooky from the spooky box. Here's the backing. So I need to cut the backing from my Harmony wide back that fits. That purple is perfect with the Promise Me purple that I used in it. So that has to be done. And then I want to do a little border around my Secret Lives. And the top is done, and here's the backing, but I want to do a little border, so I can't cut the backing yet. So this is last, because this has a bit more work. We'll see how much I get done. So my thought process on this Saturday morning, I took a walk, I visited with a neighbor, I went to the grocery store, I did some exercises, and so it's now like 11:30, and I'm thinking I'm going to go through everything I just showed you and get all of those things done today. And then if I can, I will sew the, what are we on? What is it today? The Scrappiness is Happiness. So I would do the Scrappiness is Happiness block today too, because I have to show you this all on Monday, but I'm taping it on Saturday. I forgot. I have this quilt that needs binding. It is for the book tour, Melissa Corey's book tour, that is later this month. So I had to get the binding on so that I can take it and do some pictures with it. So that's also on the list. Don't know if I'll get to that today, but we will see. First up is the spooky one. So I measured it. I have some paper, cute paper, by the way. You always have to have cute paper. So I have cute paper, and I need about a 60 by 60 square of my Harmony wide back. And so let's see, I opened it up, and there's a smaller piece in here. So this is the process I'm going to do for the backings on all of them. Measure, figure out what size I need, and then if there's smaller pieces, figure out if they're big enough. So it's really the width that becomes the problem, because it's edge to edge is totally more than 60. It's like 108. So what do I got? So this is not 60 this way. So I will be cutting from the new part and saving this for a smaller project. So I will do that for the spooky, do that for Hometown Charms, which Hometown Charms, did I show you which Harmony wide back? I am doing, so I'm going to do the black and white. The Harmony wide back in black and white. So I have to measure the Hometown Charms to be sure how big mine actually came out, and then cut that backing. And those two I'm going to do right now. After that, I will either do the backing for the Tantalizing Table Topper, so that'll get 3 backings done, right? And then I'll go on to borders for the Promise Me Climbing Roses. Okay, so this is just like a assembly line process, and I will check in and tell you where I'm at, how I'm getting them done. Now I have the spooky ready as a package. I didn't have enough of this for binding, so I will just put this back in my orange bin, and I cut candy corn binding. So this is ready, and probably I will quilt this myself, so it is going to go someplace where I remember to do that. Now I'm doing the backing for the table topper. I don't have enough of this to do the full backing, so I have enough to do one length and then enough of this one almost to do a second length. So I could just do them side by side, but instead what I'm going to do is split this one and put this in the middle and then one of these strips on either side of it. And I need to make it a bit longer. Also, it has a chunk out of it, which means I lost even this much more. So I have some pieces here that I will sew on the bottom. So I'll just go ahead and sew that on the bottom and get this one done. And I already have the binding for that one. So here is the binding already for that one. So this is project number 2 for Saturday. So I'll get this backing done, but first I'm going to go walk and get a Starbucks. We had lunch. I'm going to go get a Starbucks now. And then I'll come back and do this, and after this I will do the border on the Promise Me Climbing Roses, because I need that one for today. And then I might, because remember this is Saturday, so this video is airing on Monday, so I'm sort of filming here as I go along because I thought you might just see what I work on. Okay, so the border will be next, or I could do the backing for Be My Neighbor. I could do that one next. Okay, I'll decide when I come back. Okay. All right, let's go out and give the plants a little water because it's really warm here in Virginia. And I've got these guys out here. Now it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but if it doesn't rain, they need some water. So I'm gonna do that and then go back in. It is almost 5 o'clock and it's gorgeous. The sun is not on my clothesline now, so I am taking these 3 out to the clothesline and we'll take a look at them out there, and then we'll come back and I'll do the Scrappiness is Happiness block number 2. It was really fun to do the birdsong fabric for the tantalizing table toppers so that I could work with fussy cutting the different fabrics. Whee, as it runs away from me, such as putting this in the middle here. So fun. And then playing around with the solids. So taking this group of solids and working them through the whole quilt and making a very light and beautiful quilt. Feels like spring. This definitely is a springy quilt. Thank you so much everybody for sewing along on this one. I will show this again. I love it. Here's the Climbing Roses out on the line, getting some fresh air. Doesn't it look great? I love that it creates like an argyle. Looks like an argyle shirt or argyle socks. We did have some gorgeous yellow leaves, but well, they're past their time. I didn't get it done in time for that. So here is Climbing Roses. I'm going to stick up Amongst the Stars again, and we'll take a look at that. Amongst the Stars again turned out so fantastic. I absolutely love that border. Wouldn't that be great? Just, you know, if you've not done this quilt, you could still try that delectable border on something else. It just looks amazing. See if I can get that little bit of yellow above. I gotta pull back. Oh my goodness. I love it. Such a fun quilt. Thank you everybody for doing the sew-alongs for Promise Me fabric. And I can't wait to see your finished quilts. Before we get to the Scrappiness is Happiness, I want to show you the backing for the tantalizing table toppers with my bird song. So this is how I ended up piecing it. I have the main, got the main print down the middle, and then I took that secondary print, which was my other option for the border, and I split it. It wasn't quite in half. You know, there was like 16 inches I had to do on either side, so I kept the other strip. But here's how it turned out. So this guy is all ready, the binding's all ready, so I'm doing these little stacks over here because some of them couple of them I might quilt, like the spooky one, I might quilt just myself with my walking foot and the wave stitch. The others, this one's a little bit bigger, and then the Promise Me's are probably going to go to Benartex, which is so they can use them to send with sales reps or whatever they want to do. So I'm going to contact them and see if they want to work with those ones or have them to use for you know, taking around. Okay, so let's go see what our block is this week. For week 2, we have mushrooms. There are 2 mushrooms. There is a large and a small mushroom, and they are so darling. And the book has a quilt that you could do with both of them in the same quilt, but we're just doing one of each for the sampler. And I am using this medium blue background. Let's take a look down here. I'm using this medium blue background. Remember my bee? Here he is in the bin. So there's the bee. And I did have a few people ask me what was I going to use for the sashing between the blocks, and honestly, I didn't realize that the original, that the drawing or the sampler had shaded it so that it looked like the sashing was a different color. And I looked more closely at it. They're just a shader, couple shades off, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. My whole background and sashing are all this blue. Everything is going to float on the blue. I'm not breaking it up with another color, no. So I also know that part of my plan here is to add something from my stash. That's the scrappiness part for me this time. And I want polka dots for my mushrooms. Oh yeah, gotta have polka dots. So I got the blue fabric out. I right away found this white with polka dots, so that might be one of them, but there's a fabric I'm looking for. I know I have it, and so I need to find it. And it is an older one that I've used. Here it is. Oh, here it is. I've used it in different things. So this is going to be one of the mushrooms. Look at that on the blue. So you can see it on the blue. Of course, you can see that definitely on the blue. And then I don't know what I will do for the stems. So I'll look through here. Maybe yellow. Maybe yellow's not that one since I just used it, but there's not more dots either. But maybe a honeycomb, like a honeycomb stem for one of them. Maybe, and oh, then there's the words. Maybe they both get a yellow stem. Yeah, I think so. So one will be probably the bigger one will be the white because the dots are bigger on that one, and the small one will be the blue. And yeah, okay, that's it. That's the plan. Mushroom time. These mushrooms turned out so darling. I definitely am going to have to use these polka dots again. I probably shouldn't have put them back in the bin. I probably should have put them with the fabrics. I put them back in the blue bin. I think I'll dig them out because I'm going to have to use these dots again. Look how cute they are. So just to remind you, there are other cute mushroom things. There's still a few of these sets of pins out there. Look. And the mushroom tea towel that I got. I know I showed you these, but I'm showing you again since it's mushroom day. I've declared it mushroom day. Look, 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 look. So this one's going in my kitchen right now because it feels kind of fall, right? And then the little zippy bag. Oh, this is like a tapestry fabric. It's by, these are by Gingerbur, both of these. I love her drawings. And then, you know, you can get mushroom fabrics too. Like, you got to have the fun stuff. Got to have the fun stuff. I think I'm going to put this one in my purse because I love it so much. Yeah. Okay, so we've got mushrooms to make. Today is also Hug a Bear Day. And I got out one of my very first patterns. His name is Evan. It's been out of print for a zillion years. It was done before I did really good graphics, before I really understood the graphics. I think I may have drawn the pattern by hand. I'm pretty sure I did. It was a hand drawing. But here is Evan the bear. I think this is the only bear quilt I've ever done. He's so cute. Here's the back for those of you who like to see the back. And I also at the same time, when I did that pattern, I did an embroidery guy. So there he is. There's my little bear. I love him. Love him so much. So if you have a bear quilt with a bear image on it or bear related fabric, share that today. So it is Hug a Bear Day. There we go. Promise Me. 2 tops done. So some of you did this project from the Amongst the Stars. Let me move over here, Amongst the Stars. And there's still a couple of kits. The Fat Quarter Shop cut a few more kits. So you're able to go out and grab one of those if you want it, because they're not, that's it then. But it turned out so cute. And the Climbing Roses is the free pattern. And so several of you were doing this in other fabrics, which looks just as equally awesome. For the backings, the white Promise Me is what I'm using, well, it's like a off-white, is what I'm using for the Amongst the Stars. So this is the backing. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I'm using the blue version of that for the Climbing Roses. So this is the blue, it's heavy. Wide backs are heavy. So there's the backing that I'll use for this one. Okay, my friend, I hope you have fun making mushrooms. I really want to do that whole quilt of mushrooms. I don't know what's with me, but I really like the mushrooms and the dots. I can't wait to have a few more blocks done to put them up on the wall and see them together. And I'm using, once again, I'm using this background for the background of a block and the sashing between them. So I'm not doing a separate fabric for sashing, for those of you who are curious. All right, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.